Hey everybody, my last video I actually made a key to this Ford Fiesta lock with the HU101 leashy tool, and leashy is my go-to tool to make keys to just about everything, but occasionally you'll run into a lock that you can't leashy. Maybe there's not a leashy or the lock's damaged or something, you'll have to actually take it apart. So we're gonna actually make a key to this lock here from a 13 Focus by actually stripping it down. There's some mystery about taking these locks apart, but they're really not too bad. Might go slow though, because I haven't taken one apart in a long time. The last one I had to take apart was on a push start Ford that, the locks never get used on the push starts, and there was a stuck wafer in it, and so the leashy wouldn't even go all the way in, so had no choice but to strip it down. So it's a good thing to know. Now this one here has a snap ring on the back. You notice right here, it's a snap ring. Some of them just have this pressed on piece that you can just actually pry off, but be careful because you got to get it back on. As far as snap rings go, you can handle those without snap ring pliers, but a lot easier if you just buy the tool. This is a Harbor Freight set I keep in the house here. It's super cheap. I'll find some cheap ones on Amazon and link them in the description. And basically, you're just going to take the snap ring off, and then we're going to start just disassembling the lock here, and then we'll take the wafers out, decode it, and we'll cut a key. So this piece just lifts off. And it can only go back on one way, so I got the little notch right here, but bottom plate lifts off. If you're worried about putting it back together, take pictures as you go, save you some trouble. And there's a little piece right here that also comes off. All right. And here's where Ford gets kind of tricky. There's actually a hidden little I don't even know what you even call this thing. It looks like a little half moon with a T on it. There's one right here, and there's one in here. These have to come out. So let's get them out. Just has to be pushed out here. I'm just using a lock pick. All right, that's I'm not even sure how to even describe that thing, but it's kind of hidden in there, and sometimes they're a little harder to get out than that, but that wasn't too bad. And then we got the one more in here, and to deal with that, once you got the lock apart, this piece will actually free spin, so you can actually rotate your groove over there, and then you can actually get a lock pick in there, and you can kind of just work it out. And I'm sorry, I've not had one of these apart, and it's been a while, so. Okay, we got it to move a little bit. Basically just getting it in there and pushing it out enough to where I can kind of grab it so it's starting to come out. I don't know if you can see, the camera's having a hard time focusing down there, but it's starting to move. And let me see if I can grab it with my tweezers here. And these are just some cheap Harbor Freight tweezers too, that little cheap set they have. They come in handy sometimes on stuff like this. Yeah, it's not out enough here. Also the the O-ring picks too can sometimes help with this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to have to try to get the other side pushed out here. I'm just working it out. All right, so yeah, it's kind of too narrow of a gap to get pliers in there. And try to get the lockpick in there and just kind of turn it, push into it. And get a little tap here, see if it'll come out at all. Alright, yeah, it actually, I just gave it a nice tap there and it actually came out far enough for the cylinder to come out. So it didn't even need to come all the way out. I've actually never had that happen before, that I actually pushed it out of the way enough that the cylinder came out. I'll push it the rest of the way out anyway. So that's actually kind of cool that happens. You can kind of see right here, this is where you're trying to, go down that little groove there and you're trying to push right here to push it out. And I mean, it will come all the way out. Apparently it doesn't need to come all the way out, so I just actually learned something. So I just popped it all the way out just so you can see it here. It's the same as the other ones, just this weird little retainer here. So I'm just going to just set that aside. And now we've got our actual cylinder here. And from here, it's a good idea to put a key in, just so your wafers don't fall out, as it just slides out. And if you don't have a key in there, then the wafers can just fall out. And these wafers here, there is like I guess a left and right's a good way to describe it. You have 5 depths, but the wafers are going to be actually labeled. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And so the ones that are double digits are the left side. As we're looking at the lock right here, the left side's going to be on this side if you've got the front of the lock. So the wafers on this side are going to be the double digits, so the other side will be single digits. And we'll go ahead and we'll take this thing apart here. And right away I'm actually noticing something. There's actually no wafer in position number 2. Look right here, it's actually missing. So made a handy little chart here so I can lay them out. And so when I pull the key out here, they're going to start falling out the back here. So we got number 10. And don't lose your springs. Here's number 9. And you certainly don't have to be this careful if you don't want to be, but you're doing this here, especially with it's a keyed ignition, you need to make sure you can make the rest of the keys, so you don't want to get them mixed up if you can help it. So there's 6, 5. And sometimes the springs don't fall out, but you just pay attention, especially if you don't have more springs. I do have more springs, so if I lose one, not a big deal, but if you don't have springs, then don't lose them. Okay, this is number 3. And then 2 is not here, which is unusual, but it could have been the 5 o'clock on Friday at the factory kind of thing. Alright, so now that we got these things out, yep, the spring actually came out attached to that one. Set that aside here. Alright, so got them all laid out. And then from here, you can actually read the wafers. So let me pick one up here. So this one should be double digit here, I believe. Okay, so when you're reading these wafers, so it came out of the left side of the lock, with the keyway facing you. Then you see it's got 2 numbers here, so 1, 4. So you just drop the 1, so this is going to be a number 4. And then if we look at one, that would have came out the other side of the lock here. Okay, so this is a right side here, and we'll notice that it's just a 2. There's no 1, so this is just going to be a 2 cut. But you notice that there's not a 1, so this goes on the right side of the lock. And that's important. If you put them in wrong, the key won't go in. So not a big deal. It's easy to fix, but something to pay attention to, especially if you're rekeying them or something. And so now what we're going to do is I just need to look at all of these and just get the numbers off of them and then run them through a code fill program. That'll actually give me the one that I'm missing out of number 2 here. So I guess I can just grab a marker. So we got And one other thing I have to point out too here, when you're leashing locks, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but sometimes you get sloppy reads, especially on like, B107 or B111 keyway. These things get dirty. This right here is just grime that's on the locks. I just scraped it off. That stuff can affect your readings. See how nasty that is. That's why sometimes you need to flush the locks out, or it's really kind of a good idea to flush locks out before you leash them, because that's really what gets on the wafers here. They can get kind of nasty. And this last one is a 5, so I think that said 5 anyway. All right. Let me grab a paper towel here, wipe my hands off, and then we'll go ahead and run this through a code fill program, and we'll see if we get a valid code, and then we'll cut a key. All right, so we're using Lock Code's code fill program. Use this or Instacode. So we're going to go ahead and just enter what we have, and so I've got so you got 4. All right, got 4 question marks. We don't know what 2 is. All right, so I've got what we have entered in, and that gives us a valid code here. It gives us a position 2 in the ignition would be a 2 is what it's telling us. So if we cut this key, it would work the whole car, including the ignition, and there's actually the key code for it. So now we'll switch over to the Condor Dolphin here. And we will go ahead and cut a key. So let me move the camera. All right, and I got my key blank right here. And just pull up my phone here. X source. There's the last key that I cut. That was actually on the Dolphin 2 that's in my van though. So I'll connect here to the Dolphin 1. Let's inside, all keys lost, Ford, and our code, which I have on my iPad, 10795. That's our key code, so 10795. And HU101, and it's going to tell us position 5 on the A clamp. So we're on the A clamp. Get your brass and stuff off the clamp here. And we're going to go ahead and just load it up on position 5. And then I will cut this here. I'll probably speed it up because if you've seen a key cut, you've seen a key cut here. So go ahead and back to the app, cut key. All right, so there's side 1. Go ahead and brush it off here. All right, so now from here, I'm just going to just reassemble the lock. And test it out here and make sure that it works. All right, so just all going to happen just in reverse here, nothing too complicated. And last but not least, here number 10. And then everything should sit nice and flush too if our, if we did it right here. When you got the key inserted all the way in, everything should be at the shear line here, pulled into the lock. And that looks really good. And now we just go ahead and reassemble. We're going to just drop our cylinder in. And just put it back together in the reverse order. So move this out of the way. Get that one in there. All right, got that one in there. Oh shoot, stupid me here, you gotta spin it around. There we go. Gonna have a little groove there. Now it'll slide right in now that I've got it spun the right way. Okay, that sits on top here, it'll drop down, and then we'll just put our snap ring back on. Make sure you get it all the way seated. Which I failed to do there, but should be on there now. All right, so that's all the way on there, and now we'll go ahead and we'll test our key here and just make sure that it works. Wherever I set the key, there it is. And works perfectly. So there is the process here of disassembling the HU101 lock to decode and make a key. Questions or comments, please put them in the comments. If you have any other videos you want to see or anything like that, let me know. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, I don't know, but you can just put a comment anyway, let me know. And I'll put a link to Amazon too of some snap ring pliers. If you don't have any, it's definitely worth having. And the Amazon clicks do help the channel out. So anyway, I think that's all we got for this video. I guess that's it. We'll talk to everybody later.